Hi, I'm Brandy Pounds.
I'm Cyndi Doyle.
And we are Forgetting Freud.
Hi!
Hi!
So this week, we are doing our top 5 things to surrender in order to be happy.
Woo!
We realize that there are probably a million things, maybe not a million, but there's probably a lot of things, like everybody has their own individual stuff that they could maybe give up in order to be happy, but this was kind of a list that we thought was pretty broad and general and
concise at the same time.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, first. So, number 1
Yes?
is to surrender, to stop blaming others.
Okay.
I do it all the time. I'm terrible about it. I am working on it all the time.
One thing that I say to people, or I say also in my head, is like, where there's blame, there's shame. I think a lot of times when we are trying to displace that negative feeling or a feeling of shame, we wind up blaming it on other people as opposed to taking ownership and responsibility for our own behavior. And so I think also in blaming others, then it kind of says that everybody else has control. I think of like, if I'm going to be happy, I think about what in this can I do.
Right. Taking personal responsibility gives you a to-do list.
Yes.
So if I'm upset with you about something, I can't change that. But if I realize, oh, I've contributed, oh, I can change that. Happy!
Yes. Yeah, and I always think of behavior and belief are the 2 things that we have control over. So, yeah. So either you think differently about the situation or you do something about it. So
work on that one.
So no blaming.
No blaming.
Take ownership. Do something.
Number 2 is the need to be right. We often say you can be right or you can be happy.
Yes. I think I think I was going to buy a mug that said that. I think
cat hair in my face. You always say something like, do you want to die on this mountain?
Do you want to die on this hill?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a hill.
I think another aspect of that is influence. So, okay, strange concept. So I work with a lot of couples, and so one thing that we talk about is allowing another person to have influence. And I'll be honest, this is something that I have to sometimes work on, and you'll know it when you say, like, let's go eat such and such.
Or shopping.
So there are many times, like, my immediate response is, and for a while there, you were like, it was kind of like,
it was personal to me. I was like, why don't you want to go anywhere with me?
Yeah, and I don't know if it was about being right, but it definitely wasn't allowing you to have the influence.
Right.
So I think, anyway, to be happy, if you surrender being right and allow influence of others, that can
and trying to be right can make you kind of a bully too if you're not careful.
Yeah. Have happier relationships, at least.
Yep. So number 3. Trying to stop pleasing everyone. Trying not to be perfect. Stop trying to be perfect.
That's one thing that,
something's
we
about
have
to
to tell you. Yeah, this is, it's coming. The cat's coming. And when the videos, you were talking about dancing too. And so dancing.
Not that kind of dancing.
Like, please like me, right?
Just hands.
So, dancing, trying to make everybody happy.
That is exhausting.
I think
not everybody's ever going to like you, ever. Even if you were perfect. Yeah,
so I think that's what we do, is we try to be perfect in order for people to accept us. And the fact is that there are people in this world that are just not going to like who you are. They're going to have their own stuff.
I don't like a lot of people.
They're going to, so it's part of that is giving up, if you're going to be happy, I think it's surrendering perfection or the thought that you can be perfect or need to be perfect. I always think of like people's houses and like, oh my gosh, I can't have anybody over until my house looks exactly like this. I'm like,
I would never have friends over.
Well,
I mean, look at this nonsense.
So one of the things is like, we all live in houses, and I would rather be in a house that's lived in as opposed to like pristine.
Right.
Like, that's me.
And I'd rather have a friend that wasn't trying to be perfect as well, because that's hard to measure up to.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's 3. So 4.
Yes.
4. Stop complaining. So complaining internally, complaining externally. if you're complaining about something, you can't be happy. I have these people in my life where sometimes I call them up and they are just on a tirade and all these bad things. And I often will say, anything good happen? Anything good going on? Because how are you supposed to ever get to a happy place if you're constantly bitching?
You know what that goes along
Can we
with?
say that word?
Right? Sure, you can say bitching. That goes along with the other video that we did, the ABC video.
Yes.
I will link that below so you can go see the ABC video that she did.
So
we
tech.
did. Yeah. So,
okay.
But yeah, changing the belief. And I think you said internally and externally complaining. I think also, at least for me, it's negative thoughts in my head, the complaining in my head. I do a lot of internal complaining, either about myself or about a situation.
I never know what the hell's going on in there.
So I'm much more introverted.
I am the opposite. Imagine that.
So I get really quiet, and I might be bitching in my head, or I might be complaining about myself, or beating myself up in my head. And I think in letting go of that and allowing myself to be human and not perfect.
Right. Exactly.
Then that makes me happier.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a hard one. I mean, I get stuck in a loop of complaining sometimes with the office, and I'm like, and I recognize what I'm doing, and I'm like, I've got to stop. Like, I just got to stop, and I will replace it with something else. All right, you know, this is really hard, but, and then I'll come with something positive. That's my way of combating it, and I think you watch that evolve often in the office.
Yeah.
But, all right, so
5?
Yes.
Cinco?
5. De Mayo.
Oh.
Okay, so, detoxify your friends. Well, no, that's not the right word. Get rid of toxic people.
Detoxify.
Put your friends through
Put
detox.
them in rehab.
Happy. Get rid of the toxic people in your life.
Purge them.
Purge. I often call it spring cleaning them.
Oh, yeah.
Deadheading.
I purge every now and then.
Yep.
Fortunately, I think I've got to a point in my life where I don't have to purge a whole lot, but there was points in my life where I definitely realized that how I was being influenced by the people around me. And I think what I do different now is I observe more prior to walking into things. But
remember when you gave me the homework assignment in like 2012 that was to not make any new best friends that year, because I'm just like crazy. I'm like a loosey-goosey when it comes to making friends. I'll just let anybody in. They're my best friend in a heartbeat. And then I find out they're nuts. And then I'm crying and I'm all distraught. And she's like, holy crap. And she'd already learned this lesson. I hadn't yet. Yeah. So going through that, detoxing yourself of these toxic friends does not have to be an active thing in that I don't have to say, I'm done with you. We're done. We're over. It can just be like, oh, they text. I'm not going to respond. You can just kind of slowly back out. You don't have to confront. It doesn't have to be ugly and negative, which is something that it was always ugly and negative in my past. And now I just kind of put them in an outer orbit, as I always talk about. Push them into an outer orbit. Maybe we go to dinner once in a while, but we don't talk every day or something like that.
Right, because you can still be friends with people, but not be around them all the time.
Or have them as intimates.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, very much so.
So those are some... those are the top 5. Those are top 5. I mean, obviously, again, there's millions of these to be happy. But for me, when we came up with this list, I was kind of working on what I kind of work through daily or weekly. So
there was one other thing that you had said that I'm going back to.
An asterisk.
You talked about blaming others, but part of that I think you had talked about was blaming others for past situations.
Oh, right.
And I think that's really important to talk about. Well, not just
do that to him.
Okay, well, not just that, but I'm thinking of like past.
Like childhood stuff.
Like our crap that we got back here.
Crutching.
And then I'm going to blame all of this for the situation in my life.
Right.
And I think that if you can, and that's what something that therapy really helps with, is that if you are struggling to let go of this past stuff and still blaming it for the situation, for where you are now in your life, then I think that's something that therapeutically is really helpful, and I would suggest that you find somebody to help you walk through it.
Yep. That's a common place for my clients. You want to acknowledge the past. You want to, give it its due. But what I often say to myself, when I say to my clients, is you didn't get here without all the bumps and bruises. And you are not just here because of your past where you're happy and such, but you're also here in spite of it. So you have fought through that, and so there's some honor in that for yourself. So yeah, not blaming all that, not crutching.
Yeah.
So
I like that word, crutching.
yeah, I use that a lot. You can use it if you like.
Thanks.
Welcome. That's it, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Share with your friends.
Down below.
What are you doing down below there?
You always do that.
Yeah, why are you doing down below?
Put your comments down below.
Put your comments down below and subscribe. We would love to have you as a subscriber. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.